slimy yet satisfying. These are rare delicacies. Pecans with a very pleasant crunch.
Ooh, I can cook that. They say the bugs are slimy but satisfying, but I've always been more interested in the little cream-filled guys. We'll start by making the crunchy bits by combining butter with brown sugar and flour to make the crumbly base for our craquelin. To this, we'll add some water and yellow food coloring and continue to pulse everything together until a crumbly dough forms. We'll transfer the dough to a sheet of parchment paper and flatten it a bit before placing another sheet of parchment on top. Then we'll use a rolling pin to flatten the dough as thin as we can before transferring it to the freezer to chill and harden. Meanwhile, we'll make the choux pastry that will make our bug bodies. In a saucepan over medium-high heat, melt together butter, water, and milk. As soon as the butter is completely melted, add a bit of sugar for sweetness, then turn off the heat and toss in all of the flour at once. While the heat is still off, stir until the dough comes together, then turn the heat back on and continue to stir for a few minutes until the dough is lightly cooked and starts catching on the bottom of the pan. This is how we'll know we're ready to move on to the stand mixer. Place the dough ball into the bowl of the stand mixer with the paddle attachment and stir on a low speed. Add a few drops of red food coloring, then start adding in the eggs one at a time until a smooth but thick dough comes together. You might not need all of your eggs. It should hang off the mixing paddle without dripping when it's ready. I then transferred my dough to a piping bag after letting it cool for a few minutes. While the choux was cooling, I cut my craquelin into circles with a cookie cutter. Next, we'll pipe the choux dough into two balls, a smaller one for the head and a larger one for the body. I used a tiny dab of water on my fingertips to run over the top of the choux balls, then pressed a piece of frozen craquelin onto each. Pop the bug bodies into the oven to cook until they are puffed up, then after about 20 minutes, poke the sides to release the steam and continue to cook until they sound hollow. While the choux bugs bake and cool, we'll want to make the cream center by combining whipped cream and some cream cheese for notes of savory flavor and pecans for extra crunch. Then we'll transfer the cream to a piping bag. We'll also need licorice wheels that have been cut into antennae and legs, as well as some black icing for the eyes. Once our choux bug bods are cooled, we can assemble them by poking the licorice strips into a smaller ball to make the antenna and into the sides to make the legs. Then we'll pipe two black dots on the head to make the eyes. Finally, we'll use a wooden skewer to poke a hole in the bottom of the bug and fill it with the pecan cream until it's puffed up. Now it's just time to dig in. These little cream puff bugs are topped with a crispy, crunchy exoskeleton and filled with a sweet and savory pecan cream filling. They may not be slimy, but they sure are satisfying. What fictional feast should I make next? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked this recipe, don't forget to flip that sub button and ring the dinner bell so you can be notified of my latest recipes and foodie adventures that I post every week. Do you ever get hungry? You can find this recipe and many more with ingredient amounts and step-by-step instructions over on thestarvingchefblog.com. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode.